Shawty get down, good lord. Baby got 'em all over town. Strictly biz, she don't play around. Cover much ground's got game by the pound. Getting paid is a forte, each and every day, true play away. I can't get her out of my mind. I think about the girl all the time. East side to the west side, push her fat rides, ain't no surprise. She got tricks in the stash, stacking up the cash fast when it comes to the gas. By no means average, she's on when she's got to have it. Baby, you're a perfect 10. I wanna get in so I get down so I can win. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. She's got class and style, street knowledge by the pound. Baby, never act wild, very low-key on the profile. Catching feelings is a no, so let me tell you how it goes. Curves the words, spins the verbs, lovers it curbs, so freak what you heard. Rolling with the fatness, you don't even know what the half is. You gotta pay to play, just for shorty bang bang to look your way. I like the way you work it, trump tie all day, every day. You're blowing my mind, baby, in time. Maybe I can get you in my ride. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. To bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. I got to bag it up.
Right. So you guys did No Diggity.
Yes.
And I was kind of, I had heard the Blackstreet version before. We covered the Chet Faker version.
Okay.
Which I know is not the original, and I liked hearing the way that you guys did it. There were extra lyrics in there and stuff. So.
Oh, okay.
So what's your history with the Blackstreet version?
So it's one of those songs that, like, I don't know the first time that I heard it. You just know you've heard it. Forever,
sure.
I guess.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something I, like, listened to, like, regularly. It was not on my radar forever. It's just something you know. And the three of us were at rehearsal one week, and we were thinking of, like, new covers to do, the three of us, and Bill was like, oh, you know what we could do? And he just starts doing the bass line in No Diggity.
Oh, cool.
And Mark was like, oh, yeah. And I still didn't know what they were talking about because they didn't say the name. They just started playing it. And Mark,
he just started doing the bass line over and over. And Mark was like, oh, yeah, like this band I used to play in, we used to do that song. And he starts playing into it. And obviously they're not singing. So I'm like, what are you guys playing? But it sounded cool. And then they told me it was No Diggity. And I'm like, No Diggity, what is that song? And so I looked it up on Spotify. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes, I've heard that song.
I like
and I go,
the way you work it.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I've heard that song. And I'm like, oh my God, we could cover this? Like, how do you do that? Like, because it's a very, like, it's not an acoustic song by any means. I mean, it's kind of like a hip-hop rap kind of, the Blackstreet version is, at least. Yeah. So that's where that came out of. And it was funny, like, watching the two of them, like, I was like, out of all people, I don't think I would guess that you guys would, like, know that song and like that song. And so one of my favorite things to do is to take covers that you wouldn't, songs that you wouldn't, like, think could ever be made into, like, some sort of acoustic thing and try and do it and make it your own. So I was like, oh, this would be perfect because people wouldn't be expecting it, you know?
So we talked a little bit about the pandemic and just kind of what it was like being a musician during the pandemic here in St. Louis. How did that affect you? And how did it affect kind of the way that you look at working as a gigging musician?
Right.
And maybe even your relationship with the two of them, too.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely put a wrench in, like, all my plans right when it happened. So I guess, I mean, that was, like, spring of 2020. And that coming summer, like, Mark and I started playing together in, like, January of 2020. So right before COVID hit. And we were, like, you know, just kind of plugging away in his basement, like, you know, getting, like, a catalog of songs and covers and him learning my originals. And we had booked, like, so many gigs for the summer. Like, we were playing at a few different festivals, like, a bunch. And and I'd been waiting for a summer where I could, like, try and not get a summer job and just try music, like, full-time for the summer, because at the time I was working in a school. I was working in special ed.
Sure.
And so I knew I was going to have the summer off.
Sure.
But it's like taking the risk, but not, because school, like, my job would pick back up in August. So it's like, okay, let's just, like, see what happens. You know, I've never taken that risk before. Let's try it. And obviously then COVID happened and all that got canceled. And so I was like, well, there goes that plan of trying that. So, I mean, there were no gigs. There was, I mean, nothing. The two of us all summer just practiced and plugged away, kind of honing our chemistry together and learning new songs. And luckily, there was the St. Charles Farmers Market still went ahead with things. It just was, like, really distanced and masked and stuff, but they had us play a few times. So that was kind of nice to be able to, like, practice what we had been doing out. But other than that, it definitely affected opportunity-wise. Because we were like, oh, man, we just felt like we were just starting to get some momentum as, like, a duo and trying to get some stuff, and then all of it was washed away. But it also, I mean, left time for me to, like, focus on writing, too. Yeah. Which I think most are. I mean, look at all the artists that came out with albums and songs during, like, that quarantine and COVID period, which was kind of cool. It was like this whole revival of, like, creativity, which was pretty neat.
Getting paid is a forte each and every day. True play away.